It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege of interviewing the Kansas Wesleyan's head volleyball coach, Coach Jessica Biegert. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me today. Excited about this.
Thank you. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started in coaching in college volleyball?
Yeah, well, I didn't go to school knowing I wanted to coach volleyball, which was kind of fun. I was a player at Friends University, and the head coach there kind of like forced me into it. So my senior year of college sports, we were just low on staffing, so I ended up being the junior varsity head coach and then a varsity player. And I found out real fast I got yelled at less when I was coaching than when I was playing. And so that just kind of, I liked watching other people's successes. And then we ran like a club volleyball business together. And I really like the business side of the sports as well. So like, yeah, he kind of pushed me into it, said I'd be good at it. And then like I ran with it. So that's kind of how I got into college coaching.
What was that experience like for you going to friends and getting to put on that uniform for them?
Yeah, I mean, I was a transfer. I came from Heston College. So I played my first 2 years at Heston, and then my second 2 years was at Friends. And it was good. I went with my best friend, and Wichita's a great city to be a part of. Friends was a great school, and it was a fun experience with my teammates. And yeah, it was a long time ago, but it was a great experience.
How was that transition like after you played, getting into coaching and coaching on the JV side for the head coach?
Yeah, so I graduated from Friends, I stuck around for a year to help him develop his team and further their successes. So it was good to kind of have my own program for JV and kind of experiment with what works and what doesn't work. And he gave me a lot of freedom for that. And so I'm very thankful that Martin Ian was a good mentor for me and pushed me into it and saw my potential as a coach.
Of course, what was that like getting to be the Nebraska Kinley's grad assistant?
Yeah, in Nebraska Kearney. So I was there for a graduate internship. So I moved there for fall of 2010, and I learned everything I know from him. He has a very impressive resume, like a 95% win record. Like he's a great guy to learn from. I loved how he structured his practices and his philosophies. So it was a really good experience. We actually ended up number 5 in the nation that year. So it was elite level volleyball. It was close to my hometown. And what was also fun is I got to coach some of the girls I played in high school with. So there's about like a 3-year difference between us, but it was kind of seeing a full circle of like my Nebraska days as a high school player and then coaching my former teammates in high school at Nebraska Kearney. So it was fun to see their full circle.
Of course, what was that experience like for you getting to become a head coach and going to Heston College?
Yeah, so Heston's obviously my alma mater. So they gave me a shot as a young 25-year-old head coach, and I'm very thankful for that experience. I truly enjoyed it there. Like, it was an easy place to sell being alumni, and I used a lot of the Mennonite connections, and the Jayhawk conference is super competitive, and we were actually able to like compete at that level in my 5 years there. So it was a good experience, a good start in my head coaching career, and it just taught me like you really just got to grind out the game and move up, and pour your heart and soul into it, and that's what I can say I did at Heston.
Of course, what were some of the things that you were able to accomplish as a head coach for McFray's?
Yeah, so after Heston, I was part-time at Heston and I was a full-time fitness director. So like after not sleeping for 5 years, I decided I wanted to make volleyball like full-time. So I got a great opportunity just 20 miles north of Heston at McPherson College. And I was able to go in there and we took a program from last to first in just 3 years. So it was a great opportunity to like, further my career. And I walked on campus and the talent was all there. It was just putting it together and competing. And we were able to do that in just 3 short years.
Of course, what were some of the things that you were able to learn from rebuilding a program and rebuilding the culture to help you to where you are now at Kansas Wesleyan?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So at McPherson, I was, walking into a program that didn't win very much. So they were like hungry for change and they would have done anything if it promised winning. And so the rebuilding was really easy because it was only up from there. We talked about like culture. We had like our values at McPherson and just how we overcome adversity together. And it was a really smooth process. Rebuilding was for sure. However, when I get to Kansas Wesleyan, they're already traditionally like top 3 in the KCAC and just had a tradition of winning. So when I got the Kansas Wesleyan job, I wasn't rebuilding, I was recreating. So I actually think the recreating was a lot harder than the rebuilding. Not just resistance, but just like what they had been doing is working, and they liked what they were doing. And I just came in with fresh new ideas and wanted to raise the level up. And yeah, that was a harder process.
As a head coach, what was that process like, as you said, recreating the culture for, of course, Kansas Wesleyan?
Yeah, so I'm really big at like establishing values as a culture. So we sat in a room together. We talked about like what we wanted to be about, what we wanted to be known for, how we were going to live on and off the court, and what we were going to stay true to, regardless if we won or lost. And so we had to dive a lot into that. And it actually took a couple years to really establish like what really worked for us. Fortunately, that freshman class coming into Kansas Wesleyan, when I got there, they were eager to run with these values and kind of set the fundamentals and the start of a new legacy with Kansas Wesleyan. And all their hard work and sacrificing for our culture like really paid off.
Of course, after getting announced to become the new head coach for Kansas Wesleyan, what was that feeling like stepping onto the volleyball court?
Yeah, it was good. I just saw, Kansas Wesleyan, like all of the programs win here. And I just wanted to be a part of a, community where you were encouraged and pushed and, people that could make you better. So that was the athletic culture at Kansas Wesleyan. Salina, the community is great. It's about the same size of town as my hometown. So it felt very homey. We have family in the area, and I just had, when I took the Kansas Wesleyan job, my son was like 3 months old. So not only were we like experimenting with parenting, but we wanted to be in the area surrounded by our village that could help us raise our little ones. And so Salina and Kansas Wesleyan just felt like a really good fit for me personally. The resources they put into athletics here, as well as our facilities, like they're unbeat in our conference.
Of course, can you talk about the culture that you started to build for Kansas Wesleyan's volleyball program?
Yeah, so that legacy that we started when I got here, our theme is chasing diamonds because we're, chasing the ring, chasing the end of the season show offs, so with the chasing diamonds theme, we live and breathe by 3 values. The first one is authenticity, and that is like loving yourself for who you are, loving others for who they are. And then this applies to like volleyball life and academics. So we preach this in all areas of life. The second value is brilliance. So surrounding yourself with good people, shining brighter together as a team versus individually, gets rid of the selfishness in the game. And then our last value is strength. So mental toughness, bouncing back from adversity, pushing yourself to the max. So we just teach those 3 values, and then I think the little process and little things result in the W. So I'm not a big goals coach. I like the process, and it's been evident here the last couple of years that we were able to do that with our back-to-back champs.
Of course, as a head coach, what has that been like, obviously building the coaching staff around you and the players around you?
Yeah, your coaching staff's everything. So like you got to be on the same page. You got to be opposites because we can't both be the good guy, can't both be the bad guy. And so Skylar Lane is my assistant now. She played for me in 2018 at McPherson when we won. So she took on this challenge of coming to the school down the road and taking what she learned and knowing how I am. And she's done a really great job of complimenting my style and being invested and loyal. And it's a fun every day to come to work and with her by my side for sure. So recruiting, we get to in college to pick and choose a little bit who fits into our culture. And, we pick culture kids way over prioritize them over the super stud that might not fit into our program. So we want to make sure that with every recruit coming in that we can withhold our values and provide a positive environment where we can all grow in as a person and a player and as well as a student.
Of course, as a coach, what was that like getting to coach in the back-to-back championships and winning back-to-back championships?
Yeah, no, it was great. So last year, we ended up winning the conference tournament. And, that was that freshman class that came in with me. We had invested so much in them. They've been playing since they were freshmen. So their senior year, they really wanted to end on that diamond and shine. And they were able to pull it off in the conference tournament, which was really fun and so well deserving for them, for all of the sacrifices and culture building they did for us. They all graduated obviously after last year. So we were like a brand new team this year. We returned 3 players and we brought in a lot of transfers and they just came in and ran with our culture and our system and were able to pull it off for a back-to-back chance for the regular season.
Of course, what does a typical volleyball match look like for you as a coach versus for your players?
We like to make game day super fun and elite here. We like to act like we're Division One, even though we're just an NAIA school. But our game day environment's insane. We have a video board. They all have a walkout green screen, introduction things for starting lineups. We shut the lights off. There's a spotlight. We have fog machines. We have a hype song. We have a highlight video. We like to make game day everything here. So it's a big part of who we are, and it's just really fun to see them enjoy that moment. And that's what you're going to remember looking back 10 years down the road is that game day experience and how great of an environment was with our student section, our parent section, and just the eliteness of it.
Who are some of the teams in your conference that you compete against each week?
Yeah, so the KCAC currently has 14 teams in it. The closest one's Bethany, our rival, 20 miles down the road. Always a fun rivalry match. Ottawa, Kansas, they're also a rivalry match because we're always competing in the top 3. So they're really fun to play as well. Oklahoma Wesleyan this year is who we were Coach Hamps with, and they have a really good team that's strong and pushes us to our limits. And there's a lot of solid teams in the KCAC.
Of course, what is that home game atmosphere like when teams like Oklahoma Wesleyan comes to home versus going to Bethany away?
Yeah, we shock them, and they come to our gym and they get a show and a performance. They're not used to that, and so it's kind of our competitive home advantage court that we put a stamp on. And so it's fun to see other teams come and be a part of it.
What does that recruitment process look like for those prospective student athletes looking to play collegiate volleyball?
Yeah, our process is we usually communicate through email if they contact us, or we go to some national qualifiers and recruit, get their names and contact information, watch them play, and then we invite them to campus. A typical campus visit kind of looks like they come in and eat lunch with the team. They get a tour of the campus. They meet with an academic professor. They meet with admissions, and then we talk volleyball, and then they get to play in the gym with our team. So it's the best way of really knowing if they can fit our culture and if they like our gym and if they like my coaching style. So we like to expose it all on their visits.
Of course, as a head coach, what is it like seeing those players fall in love with the campus and the volleyball court that they'll be playing on?
Yeah, the recruits is awesome. We set the bar really high. Our facilities, the atmosphere of our team is super welcoming and positive, and they're really outgoing. So they make recruits feel really welcomed and excited to be here and not as nervous. And yeah, I think we like to think that we are always at the top of recruits lists once they visit campus.
As a head coach, what is it like seeing those freshmen put on that Kansas Wesleyan jersey for the first time?
Yeah, no, it's exciting, especially like we've had some really good freshmen come in and be able to play right away. So it's fun to watch them in that starting lineup. Just their eyes get real big, and the atmosphere is a little intimidating at first, but it's the start of their legacy at Kansas Wesleyan, and we teach them what we're about, and it's fun to watch them put that jersey on and live it out for 4 years.
How is that experience like getting to see them achieve those first milestones as a freshman, like those first digs and first serves?
Yeah, no, freshmen, they get a lot of grace from me. It's such a like lifestyle whirlwind of coming to college. You're learning independence, you're balancing college life and athletics and being far away from home, and it's a whirlwind for them. So they get a lot of grace from me. And then once they've acclimated, which usually takes like a year, then we can like really dig deep into like pushing them to get better and helping with the culture and recruiting and just involve them a lot more.
Of course, as a head coach, what is it like seeing those seniors put on that uniform for the last time?
So sad. Like they poured out blood, sweat, and tears for your program, and then they put their jersey on for the last game in the tournament or hopefully at nationals. So it's just fun to see them step up because they know like this is potentially their last game. So typically it's fun to see them like ball out and go out with no regrets and just get that closure. That closure is really important in college sports because there's typically not much after our level for volleyball. So like getting their closure is really important here.
Of course, how is that like seeing those seniors achieve those 1,000 career digs and 1,000 career serves and stuff?
Yeah, we like to reward them. We have a milestone ball that's gold, and whether they've hit milestone, we give it to them. Sometimes it takes a couple years to hit those, but um, we have a player that's coming back for COVID year. She's already blew every milestone out, and she gets one more year to blow it out even more. So she's competing with herself and her own stats and her own milestones. So it'll be fun to see her really execute on her COVID year.
Of course, as a head coach, how is it like getting to see those players go into playing professional volleyball, whether it's Athletes Unlimited or the US route?
Yeah, typically at our level, the professional opportunities aren't really there. They could go overseas potentially because there's different levels and different league levels. But I would say most of the players that come in here know they're going to play 4 years, get a college degree, and move forward in life with that degree or being home with a family. Like they come here knowing that there's not much opportunity after.
What is it like getting to see those players go on into coaching just like you have?
I feel like that's the most rewarding part of coaching. Like if you've inspired a player in your program to want to be a coach, like then you did the right thing. So it's fun to play them. Like one of my players is the assistant at St. Mary's, and so it's always good to connect with her. And um, there's another one at Southwestern. So, even in the conference, like we just feel like volleyball is so big and it's a community that you start together and then now you're playing against each other. It just makes it so fun to be a part of. And it's just a lot of pride to have. They like the game so much. They want to teach other people how to like volleyball, and it's special.
Of course, so far as the head coach at Kansas Wesleyan, what have been some of your biggest accomplishments?
My big accomplishments, in 5 years, I was able to hit my 200 win milestone a couple years ago, going for 300 probably next season, hopefully. Um, Otherwise, my accomplishments are just to make sure that my players are like performing their best. I'm getting the most out of them. They're getting their recognition, whether it's All American or first team or a run at nationals. Like it's my job to put them in position at the highest that they can attainable. And then I can get satisfactory me that I did my absolute best of what I could do to get them there.
Of course, for you as a coach, what was that feeling like getting that 200th win?
It was good. It takes a while to get there, especially when you take over a program, a couple programs that didn't have much of a record at all. So it just makes you reflect back on your first years where I went 8-23 and what a grind that was, or all the times back then where you thought it was impossible to continue on and you stuck it out, and then you hit your 200 wins and you're like, yes, it was worth it to stick it out. So like, it's just kind of a reality check of like where you've been and how far you've came. And it takes it's not instant gratification. So it takes, I've been my 13 years as a head coach. So it takes time to build that and have confidence in it.
What are some of your future plans at Kansas Wesleyan moving forward?
Yeah, what I'd like to do is just traditionally be at the top. Winning conference every year is ideal. The last 2 years we have gone to nationals, but lost the first matchup. So, getting that to that final site in Sioux City, Iowa is the next goal. So getting players that can help us compete there, get another ring, go to final site nationals and make a run for it. So that's the next step for us.
Of course, what would you tell your younger self looking back on your career so far as a head coach?
What would I tell my younger self? Assistant coaches are everything. So sometimes they can make or break your team. So being really cautious and like who I hire is a big piece of what I've kind of lessons learned since then. Otherwise, just developing relationships with players, making sure it's not transactional or they're just here to perform on the court, that this volleyball is just an opportunity to, connect with players with a common ground of like loving volleyball. So really executing on those relationships.
What advice would you give those incoming freshmen entering their first year of college volleyball?
Yeah, stick it out. So like that instant gratification doesn't always happen in sports, but the reward is through the grind. So once you grind and you stick it out and you get through all the adversity, someday your senior year, you can look back and say, I did it and I did it for the right reason. So yeah, sticking it out. I mean, transferring is a common thing in today's world, which there's nothing wrong with that, but character and developmental growth, like it's good to stick it out your freshman year, regardless if you're playing or not.
What advice would you give those seniors looking to go play professionally, whether it's Athletes Unlimited or the U.S. route or even overseas?
Yeah, I mean, they just have to go to tryouts and get seen and be willing to take the risk and the sacrifice. Like I said, it's possible, but pretty rare. So they just kind of have to get outside their own comfort zone and go chase something that they want to be a part of.
What advice would you give those players looking to get into coaching like you have?
Yeah, no, I think coaching is the best way to get back to all those that, coached you growing up and developed you and invested in you. So it's a way to get back to the community, whether it's club volleyball, high school, college. I think it's just a good opportunity to, develop a community and, be there for people in their hardest times, their high moments, their low moments. And it's a fulfilling career. It's a fulfilling career. And then there's benefits that you don't work 8 to 5. You're in a gym. You get to wear sweats every day to work. Like there's a lot of pros to coaching on the other side of it.
Of course, what advice would you give those head coaches looking to build their own program and build their own legacy?
Yeah, keep grinding. You're going to have some seasons that make you question everything. And then you're going to have seasons where everything was worth it. So just knowing you give your best every day, be okay with rejection, be okay with failure, know how to bounce out of it. That's my advice to young coaches.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you on social media along with the Kansas Wesleyan's volleyball program at?
Sorry, can you say that again?
Where can my listeners find the program at on social media along with you at?
Yeah, we have Facebook, Kansas Wesleyan Women's Volleyball, because we actually have a men's program here too. So there is a difference here. We also have Twitter and Instagram as well. And then, of course, our Kansas Wesleyan website. So those are the best places to find us at.
Thank you again, Coach Jessica, for your interview and best luck in your future with the Kansas Wesleyan's women's volleyball program.
Thank you for having me.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Jessica, for your interview and best luck in your future.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.